All right, so one of the key aspects of relationship marketing and CRM is the promise that implementing relationship marketing and CRM strategies will produce more profits. Let's look more closely at the promises of relationship marketing and CRM. One of the key questions to start with is, does your firm spend more money and time on retaining current customers or finding new ones? For almost every company I've ever been around, the answer is that they spend much more time, money, and energy on acquiring new customers rather than retaining current customers. I have a story about a good friend of mine by the name of, well, the name's not so important. He runs a company in Dallas. And one year, the Direct Marketing Association's conference was going to be held here in Las Vegas. And he called me and said, he said, Jack, he said, I'm going to be bringing up my sales team. He said, do you think maybe you could, spend a couple of hours talking about relationship marketing to them? He said because, and I asked him, and I talked to him a little bit a while about it, and finally I said to him, so why do you think these folks need this seminar? And he said, well, we have a retention problem. And I said, really? And his name is Michael. And so I said, Michael, I said, what's the problem? He said, well, he said, we lose about 10% of our customers. And they were actually in the supplemental healthcare insurance business for retirees. And I was thinking to myself, geez, that 10% doesn't sound that bad, because people, retirees move, and retirees go into nursing homes, and retirees sometimes pass away. And so I was thinking, well, 10% is not bad. And so I said to him, I said, 10% doesn't sound bad to me. And he said, 10% a month doesn't sound bad to you? And I said, oh, I said, yeah, I said, that sounds bad to me. I thought you meant 10,000 or 10% a year, not 10% a month. And of course, when we talked about it a little while longer, it turns out that his organization spent all their time and effort on acquiring new customers and spent no time or effort trying to retain their current ones. So the problem with not spending money to retain your customers is that for every customer you lose, you have to acquire a new one to replace them. And the new customer is not likely to be as valuable as the one you lost. And the more you lose, the more you have to acquire just to get back to even. And we'll show you that in just a little bit, one of those calculations. So does your firm spend more money retaining current customers or finding new ones? For many of the companies that you work with or that you'll be working with in the future, the answer is we spend way more on acquiring new customers than retaining the current ones. Well, here's the promise of CRM and relationship marketing. More retention of customers, increased spending per customer, more referrals, cost reductions, and of course, more profits. So the promise of CRM and relationship marketing sounds pretty good. More customers, increased spending per customer, more referrals, reduce costs, and then, of course, more profits. Well, let me show you so let's start with showing you the importance of retention. And this is one of the key promises in relationship marketing, is you'll retain more customers. The interesting thing about the retention of customers is that it is a multiplicative phenomenon. So let's take a quick look here. On the top 4 lines, I have a retention. I have a set of customers and a retention rate of 75%. And so every year I'm able to retain 75% of my customers. So in reality, out of every 100 customers I have, I lose 25 of them a year. And I might lose them because they have moved. I might lose them because they found a better company. I might lose them because they passed away, or I might lose them because they're no longer interested in the whole product category. So there are lots of reasons why I might lose them. But I'm losing about 25% of my customers every year. So the very first year I start off with 10,000 customers. I add 2,500 new customers. And then out of that 12,500 customers, I retain 75% of them, or 9,375 customers. So starting year 2, instead of having 10,000 customers, I now have 9,375 customers. I add 2,500 new customers again this year. I retain 75% of them. My total number of customers then goes down to 8,906. And if we go out here, we look at what happens after 5 years. At the end of 5 years, my 10,000 customers are now 8,093 customers. So even though I've added 2,500 customers a year, or if you take the 10,000 customers I started with and add 2,500 customers for 5 years, I have 22,500 customers. Of those 22,500 customers, I only have 8,093 left. So what would happen if out of every 10 customers I lost, I kept one more? Well, then my retention rate goes from 75% to 85%. So if I had an 85% retention rate, I would start out with 10,000 customers plus the 2,500 new customers for that year. I retain 85% of them. I end up with 10,625 customers. When I run that out for 5 years, the net I have is 12,318,000 customers. So by just keeping one more customer out of every 10 that I've lost, it results in 4,225 additional customers at the end of 5 years, or a 52% increase over the 75% retention rate. That's right, 50% more customers by just retaining one out of every 10 that I was losing. That's the promise and the power of retention. Okay, another metric that relationship marketers like to talk about is this notion of lifetime value of customers. Now, next week we're going to spend some time really working through the calculations of the lifetime value of a customer. That is abbreviated in one of two ways depending on what article you read. It could be abbreviated as LTV, lifetime value of customers, or it could be abbreviated CLV, customer lifetime value. So I'm going to give you two really quick examples. The first one's a grocery store example. Well, how much do you think you spend a week on groceries? Let's just assume that it's $50. That's probably low, but let's just assume it's $50. You have an annual expenditure then of $2,600 on groceries. You've been in Las Vegas for the last 12 years, so you spent $31,200 on groceries. With a 20% profit margin, you're worth $6,240 to the grocery store. That's why when you bring back a bad head of lettuce or bring back a product and say it's been opened, they cheerfully refund your money and wish you a good day and put you on your merry way, because you're worth a whole bunch of money to them over your lifetime as a customer. Perhaps a better example might be a cell phone. So my cell phone bill averages about $230 a month. I think I have everybody in the neighborhood on my cell phone on my cell phone plan. I've been paying for cell phones for at least 20 years. that means that I have spent $55,200 on cell phone bills. So my question to you is, do you think that cell phone companies value their customers? Do you think they give you the best thank yous? And do you think they give you the best deals because you're their most valuable customer? I am certainly one of AT&T's best customers. But I do have an interesting AT&T story. Not very long ago, AT&T had a deal on Apple 11s or 12s or 19s or 8s or something, cell phones. So I went in and they said, of course, well, this is really only for new customers. It's not for our existing customers. And I said, it's funny. I said, because Verizon has one for even existing customers that's just like this. And the salesperson's response at the little AT&T store down on Stephanie was, well, then I think you ought to go to Verizon and get your phone there. And I thought that was an interesting comment since I had paid them $55,000 over the previous 20 years, or at least one, maybe almost 2 years of one of those people's salaries. So the problem, of course, that with cell phone companies is they're interested in making offers to acquire new customers, but they don't take the same care and interest in retaining customers. But understand that I'm worth $55,000 to them. So let's look at the financial potential of relationship marketing using lifetime value. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how companies get convinced that they should put that they should put CRM systems in, and that they should move to some sort of a turnkey relationship marketing application for their business. All right, so in this situation, our current retention rate will be 60%. Our average purchases per year will be $500. We will be getting no referrals, and it will be costing us $25 per new customer to acquire a new customer. The goal is to increase the retention rate from 60% to 75%, to increase the average purchases from $500 to $750, to get 100 referrals per year from our customer base, and of course to keep our costs the same for obtaining a new customer. All right, so with the current plan, we start off with 5,000 customers. With a retention rate of 60%, at the end of 5 years, I only have 648 of those customers left. The total revenues that I have generated from those customers each year obviously then goes down. And the cost of goods sold is 60%. So my profits per year go down, but my cumulative profit ends up being $2,147,960. So if I divide that number by the original 5,000 customers I have, I get a lifetime value of $430 per customer. Now we'll go through the mechanics of this in a future lecture, but each of those 5,000 customers is worth $430 to me. Some are obviously going to be worth more, some are going to be worth less, but the average is $430. And I have gotten roughly $150,000 in profits from those 5,000 customers. So what happens if I can increase the retention rate from 50% or 60% to 75%? Well, if I do that, and I don't change anything else, the purchases rate stay the same, cost of goods stays the same, and you'll notice what happens is that my profits go up from, 21 million and change to $2,874,000 and change, or a profit of $575 per customer for the 5,000 customers. That's an increase of 34% in profits. So my profits go up by 34% if I can increase my retention rate by, in this case, 15%. That is retaining 15 out of every 100 customers that I'm currently losing. That's pretty good. Well, what happens if I put in a full relationship marketing plan where not only do I retain more customers, but I end up with 100 referrals I end up with 100 referrals per year, which I get for free, basically, and I have an average purchase of $750. Then what happens? This is a full relationship marketing plan. So when I go in to sell you a marketing relationship program or a CRM turnkey application, this is the data I show you. I then go from having 800 customers left to having 1,855 customers left. And my profits go from 2.1 million to 4.8 million, or an increase of 124%. That's right, I more than doubled my profits with a relationship marketing program application. This is the key promise of relationship marketing, that your firm will become more profitable, and not just a little bit more profitable, but a lot more profitable. So in summary, the promise of relationship marketing is that it will increase revenues, customers, and profits, and it all sounds great. But there's something funny about this, and that is, in the 1990s, customer relationship marketing was the buzzword for all of businesses across the country. And it was adopted by America's largest corporations. After several years of trying, most analysts had to admit that they were not able to deliver more profits that they had promised. And it all turned out to be a bit of a mirage. So before implementing a CRM package, it's necessary to understand why nearly half of the US implementations and more than 80% of the European implementations were considered to be failures. The bottom line, of course, is that turnkey CRM operations and many other relationship marketing programs fail. So it is not a slam dunk. But they fail not because they're bad CRS systems or bad applications, but they fail because the firm is not able to use them in a way that produces more profits. That is, they can't figure out how to take the CRM information and turn it into business strategies that produce more profits. This course is designed to help you and your organization avoid the pitfalls and increase the chances of success when you implement a relationship marketing program.